I think the movie is great, which obviously it was a book before. The storyline of the movie I think is great and very teachable to certain people, because you grow up seeing certain things that your parents do, and then you're like, I'm not going to do that, but then you end up falling into the same patterns that they do. So it's very important to be aware of your patterns, and I think that the movie is great at making that aware. But what are your takes on this lawsuit?
And then, so obviously when that happens, you know, the whole, you know, woman is telling her story, you know, we listen, and, you know, everybody is there to support her. So that's kind of what that initial rush comes from, and everybody in support.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Deal podcast. We're on like episode 18, so thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just one of you guys listening, but we definitely at least get like 10 of you guys a week.
Much appreciated.
We love you guys. Thank you so much. Today is February 1st.
Yeah.
And what a year January has been.
January has been it's a chill 5 weeks, man.
Yeah, a long 5 weeks. And it's funny, we made that comment that 2020 started with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, WTF. Yeah. And, 2025 started with WTF as well. And that's what a lot of people are thinking right now. Like, what? We almost got it right there. WTF. What in the world, bro?
Yeah, what in the world? Yeah.
Today's topic is what in the world. So we're going to talk about a lot of current events, because just this week, today's February 1st, a lot of stuff happened in the past week.
Yeah.
So I got my glasses on today, so I look a little bit smarter for whenever I'm speaking to you guys.
Very studious guy he is.
Very studious today. So since we're talking about some of this stuff. But before we hop into that, we are into the second month of the year.
Second month of the year.
Black History Month.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Yes, sir. There we go.
How you doing on your goals so far? The goals, the habits that you set for 2025. We are 1 month in, we got 11 months. How's that going for you?
So far, so good. I mean, I'm still in my routines of being active as far as going to the gym, managing my eating habits. My goals mainly consisted of creative things.
Being more consistent with the music now. You're just telling me about what are you working on right now with CapCut, making videos of what?
Yeah, doing more video content with our, because I don't like really being in front, despite all of this, I don't really like being in front of a camera like that. So getting more into that, piecing videos together. I'm not a video editor, but we're having some fun with that. We got new music that's going to be coming out, and we want to be able to actually promote it, because unfortunately, the way that it works now in 2025, if you want to be an artist and a successful artist, you also have to be a content creator. Anybody I can pay, actually, if you're listening to this, to come and do that for us, I'm all for it.
There's a lot of content to be edited and be made, even with this, but we kind of, I think 18 episodes in, got it down a little bit to a science. So that's good. A couple of things that I was trying to do that I did was get back into yoga. I did one yoga class.
Okay. How's that doing with your knee?
It's actually really good for it. Yeah, hot yoga. It was actually really good. I did the first one last Monday, so I'll at least do two Mondays a month.
Okay.
Because, it's really good. It's really good for my knee.
I might need to get in that. My knee started hurting randomly.
It's really good. It's really good. I'd highly recommend it, especially some hot yoga. Monday nights with Yvonne at Kodawari Studios.
Yvonne, is that
Yvonne, that's the yoga instructor.
Just making sure.
She's great. Yeah, so definitely recommend her class. 7:15 Monday nights, Kodawari Studios. I did my first one. I paid for two, and then didn't feel like going to the first one. I was like, the month's almost over. I need to get into it. I said I was going to do some dance classes. I didn't do that, but it is still on the back of my mind to get that done. And
man.
I need to. After I do that, then the next fun thing to learn is going to be acoustic guitar. So me and Cleon can make a song together. Like, what was that? Back in like 2001, was it Nelly and then the white country singer?
I don't know.
Over and over again.
I have no idea what that. I know more recently Rod Wave and Morgan Wallen.
Oh, okay. I guess kind of the same thing. But
let's make it recent.
I don't know any of the new ones. So but with that being said, hope you guys are sticking to the habits of staying onto your goals. It's the small things that create the big things, and it's not going to be perfect. Like this past week, I probably went to the gym like 2-3 times. Well, if you count yoga, 3 times.
Right.
And today's Saturday. It's not going to be perfect every week.
Right.
But every day's a new day. So just get back on your high horse. I missed like maybe 1 or 2 days of reading, which is like the first time all month. Partly because the book isn't as interesting.
I'm about to say, why'd you miss it? What happened?
You just I don't know. You just have those days where you're just not as motivated. I guess the book's not as interesting. It's a book. It is a pretty interesting book, but not like pertaining to relationships and stuff, like stuff about psychology. Well, I mean, it's about negotiation, so I guess it is psychology, but it's not about relationships. And those books really, really are interesting to me.
So you picked a book that's not that interesting to you.
Interesting.
So that means you have to really force yourself to go back and do that.
But it has some good information, and anything that's about learning is good.
Absolutely.
So, but regardless, it's okay to have them off weeks. Don't beat yourself up. You're a human being. We're not robots. Get back on the high horse the next day. Get back to your habits, or the next week, whatever it may be. Take a time, take a day, 2 days, whatever it may be. Then get back up on it. With that being said, we are going to start a new segment, or we're going to try and start a new segment. And that segment is called The Deal of the Day with Mr. Cleon Deal. And
hi.
How's it going? Sir? What is the deal of the day?
So the deal of the day was actually all Brandon's idea, but basically, what it's going to be is just a little piece for you to take with you if you don't get anything else, to at least walk with maybe a saying or a quote from somebody,
or a
Bible verse, something like that you can kind of carry with you through the week until you hear the one for the next week. Obviously, like you said, hopefully, as long as we remember and do this consistently, we should have something quotable for you on a weekly basis, just to kind of hide it in your heart. And
take with you for the rest of the week.
There you go.
So what is the deal of the day for today?
So today's deal of the day, with it being February 1st, the first day of Black History Month, we have a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. What it says is, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. So Brandon, help me out. So what does that mean to you?
What that means is life is never going to be sunshine and rainbows. Like there's going to be things that don't go your way throughout the day. It could be you get a nail in your tire.
Right.
You get a loaner car from your dealership, and then you update it onto the website for the parking.gov, and you still get a parking ticket.
Yeah.
So then on Monday, you got to handle that.
So this sounds specific.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still getting a parking ticket that I got to handle, even though I did all the steps required so that they know that I have a loaner in the parking garage. But it's something that I still got to handle. And, I did the proper steps to not have to handle it, and that happens. Things with life that don't go your way, jobs, relationships, things of that, like, it's never going to go exactly how you plan it. But if you hold on to infinite hope and understand that it's God's plan and not your plan, and that everything is happening for you and not to you, is going to make going about your day-to-day life a lot easier.
Right.
So that's what that quote means to me. What's it mean to you?
For me, is kind of like always have hope on reserve. Always have more hope than life's disappointments. Every day you should be expecting to run into something that's not going to be that great. The way I live my life is every day is a good day. That's my infinite hope. That's how I walk into every single day, that it's going to be a good day, so that no matter how many finite disappointments that pop up during that time, my infinite hope says it's still going to be good regardless. So always have that reserve of hope and anticipation for things to get better. So that way, when life's disappointments does come, they do not overwhelm you.
Always have hope, man.
Always.
Keep holding on to that hope. And that is the deal of the day today. And moving on, we are in February 1st. Today we are going to cover some current events. And this past week, what the heck? WTF, you know? What in the world is going on? A lot of things are happening. That started in January, you know, a lot with the fires, just a lot of crazy stuff, whatever Trump's doing in office, with a lot of pardons. I don't know, a lot of controversial stuff that's happening. But he's making a lot of moves too. So some good, some bad, but everyone's open to their own opinion. Valentine's Day is this month. So for you that are in relationships,
for you that celebrate this holiday,
start planning. It's also Single Awareness Day. So if you
it's
need
also Side Chick Awareness Day,
that too. So if you need something to do, it's on a Friday and the club is open. So if you want to drown your sorrows in alcohol, which I do not recommend,
no,
but you have free will. You can find me there.
We will be open.
It's Friday night. So another cool thing is, which I need to pull up my phone for this one to actually get exactly what I wanted to say, unless I deleted it.
Oh gosh.
Is Captain America 4 is coming out. And if you guys don't know, I have a whole Marvel leg sleeve. So shout out my tattoo artist, Santana_tattoos on Instagram. Make sure you guys go like his stuff. But Captain America 4 actually comes out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Or if you're a super nerd like me, you go the day before, because technically it comes out on the 13th. But I'm not sure if you've seen this, but he had like a controversial comment this week as well.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that. So this is, I want to put you on the spot. I'm going to tell you.
That's going to be fun.
What he said, and I want you to tell me your thoughts on it. So basically, it was about America, or what Captain America means. And he said, to me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. So what do you think about that?
I'm sorry, I thought there was more to that. Say that one more time for me.
There is.
Okay.
There is. But that, obviously, you know, they're going to explode on that just one part. Basically it seemed like he was saying, to me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. Obviously, that's what got plastered all over social media, and people like, oh my God, he's not American. But basically he went on to say, it's about a man who keeps his word. He continued, who has honor, dignity, and integrity, someone who is trustworthy and dependable.
Right.
And then basically he says, Mackie also called the opportunity to play the character a dream coming true.
Yeah, I mean, Captain America is symbolic of values and standards, and, you know, just upholding integrity. That's what his character has always been. So I understand what he's saying. He's saying that these are the core values. There's never really been a point where Captain America has really referenced like, oh, I'm doing this for America in anything. So I think it makes sense what he's saying. I don't see it reading.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that too. But it's, you know how the internet goes. Oh my God, he's not American. But even if you watch the show or the movies, there's an actual show that he's into.
Yeah.
But if you watch the movies, it's like they're not just protecting America, they're protecting the world, the universe, and now the multiverse. There's a lot of different things that are going on. So I think the term Captain America is more so towards the individual and the kind of values that they uphold, like he was saying, honesty, integrity, bravery, and courage. Like that is what, in my opinion, represents Captain America. I got a tattoo to Captain America too.
And Anthony Mackie is also a loose cannon. So anytime he's in front of a microphone, he's gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah, and people, when you're on that stage, I remember hearing the saying like the higher you climb up the ladder, the more your butt shows. You know, but they use the other word. So it's basically the same thing. You know, the higher you're up there, the more, I guess, you can't really be yourself as much. You gotta articulate your words a little bit better, because there's always going to be somebody somewhere that doesn't like what you say. And if you don't like something that either one of us say, you know, share it with somebody else and get their perspective on it, because you know, maybe they might have a different point of view, and if they don't, then you have two people coming against us, and we love that anyways too. You know what I'm saying? The more the merrier. Keep sharing it.
You're right.
Share it and get someone else's point of view.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll take all of it at this point. It just comes with it.
And what else would you want to talk about? Just that comment. I wanted to bring that up as well. There's a couple other things we want to talk about. Some, unfortunately, are a little bit political, but we're not going to talk about the political side of them. The next thing I want to talk about is the Baldoni and Blake Lively lawsuit.
Yeah.
So when this started, maybe a few weeks back, I don't think we really talked about it too much. We did talk about the movie. I think the movie is great,
movie.
which obviously it was a book before. The storyline of the movie, I think, is great and very teachable to certain people, because you grow up seeing certain things that your parents do, and then you're like, I'm not going to do that, but then you end up falling into the same patterns that they do. So it's very important to be aware of your patterns, and I think that the movie is great at making that aware. But what are your takes on this lawsuit? There's still more information to be released, but it seemed like it was going for Blake Lively at first, and now it's like, well, just 1 second, Baldoni's got a lot of evidence.
Yeah, well, that's how the media goes. So first and foremost, for those of you who aren't aware, Blake Lively was originally suing Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment for, I guess, events that happened while shooting the movie. And then so obviously when that happens, the whole, the woman is telling her story. We listen, and everybody is there to support her. So that's kind of what that initial rush comes from, and everybody in support. But then obviously he's going to have something to say about it. Nonetheless, he's going to go and defend himself, which that's kind of what's happening now in terms of a countersuit, which I believe he's suing for. What is it? I believe defamation.
Yeah, because that's super huge, because of the situation that happened with Johnny Depp and the situation that happened with Jonathan Majors. You get convicted of even something super minor, like Jonathan Majors got convicted of super minor, was like unintentional battery, essentially. Like I touched you and unintentionally hurt you, and he got convicted of that, which a regular Joe Schmo person who isn't a famous actor would have never even went to trial. But that's a whole different story. My hearts go out to Jonathan Majors and his career. Hopefully he'll make a comeback, but he would have been a great king.
Yeah. But drastically affects your livelihood in that position.
Countersuing because all the stuff that was originally coming out was like making him look terrible. So it's like, dang, if he's really this kind of guy, which goes along the line of like the character he was playing in the movie. So it's easy, made it easier to believe, at least for me.
Well, because that's the thing about it. Because when you had originally sent this to me, I'm like, this got to be for promo. Because there's no way that in this movie that he's playing this character and then suddenly he's being sued for something similar. I'm like, there's just no way. They have to be still promoting this movie.
Yeah. So any pub is good pub, I guess. Go watch the movie.
Real. Yeah. Now it seems very real, unfortunately.
Yeah, very real. So more information on that to come as it unfolds. But I was like Team Blake Lively the whole time, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's a little bit more to the situation. And even like the angry therapist, remember I read his book, I was on his podcast. Well, I was able to speak on his live podcast. His house burned down in the Altadena, if I'm pronouncing that city right, in the fires. And this guy Baldoni like reached out to him and I guess a couple other families and is letting them stay in his California house. So it's like weird how like all this stuff kind of gets connected to me, subconsciously or whatever. But more information on that to follow. But that's a very interesting story that is developing as well. I hope both sides come out of it okay, to be honest.
I don't know how they can. I don't know how they will. Somebody's gonna have to lose, unfortunately.
Well, if he is doing what she said he's doing, then obviously I hope that he doesn't come out on top. But
of course.
If it's all like made up stuff, then I hope that he doesn't hurt Blake Lively too bad, because I love her. Okay. All right, what do we got? What do we want to talk about next? A lot of stuff happened this past week.
One of the things one of the topics you brought to me was this. I guess Uber being sued.
Lyft driver versus the plus size rapper from Michigan.
Yes.
And I'm sure everyone's heard about that because
it's everywhere right now.
Because it's a big deal.
No, wait, no, that's the wrong.
I only said that because they said it on the Breakfast Club, and and Cleon's last name is Deal, so you know it's a pretty big deal.
Unfortunately, it worked out.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, who are you siding with? The plus size rapper?
So first and foremost, for those who are unaware, basically what happened is that this rapper, young lady, she was denied a Lyft ride. So she called a Lyft to come and get her. The Lyft arrived and saw her, and said that, hey, I don't think you're going to fit my car. I can't take this ride. Now looking at the video, he was fairly polite about it. But basically she felt like she was discriminated against. Now, with that being said, I believe that, I don't know what her height is, but the weight that was put out was she's 554 pounds. And the Lyft,
to put that into perspective, that's like me plus you plus another person. Just FYI.
Yeah, well, depending on how much that other person was. But yeah, I mean, definitely at least one more person. But yeah,
maybe like a small female.
Yeah. But yeah, so it obviously, you know, she felt discriminated against, and he has a smaller sedan or whatever the case is. So for me, as far as my opinion on this, so I work in the transportation industry. And so in the medical transportation industry, so we staff transportation for people of all ages, shapes, sizes, colors, and all that other stuff, depending on we quadriplegics, paraplegics, just regular people who can walk, people in walkers, things that all that, right? And so this is what I'll say. If we were to receive a patient from an insurance company who had her same dynamics, they would request a larger vehicle. That's exactly what they would do. They would say, hey, you need to send an SUV or a truck because of the patient's dynamics. If this was a wheelchair or, let's say, a stretcher patient, that has to now be upgraded to a bariatric service. So we can't do a regular wheelchair like you're helping pushing your grandma around. It has to be upgraded to a bariatric service because it's going to require extra hands to be able to help out with things like that. So when I see a regular Lyft driver in a sedan pull up and say, I can't take that ride, I know that we wouldn't set it up in a ride like that. We 100%. Would send it.
All right. Gotta love technology. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think we're all back.
Hopefully. I certainly hope so.
I think we're all here. But basically where we left off was with the Lyft driver versus the plus size rapper. And you were giving your 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
And basically saying, you know, you guys would send a vehicle to accommodate her.
Correct.
But Lyft, like, you don't have like a patient or like a client profile really. Any pub is good pub, in my opinion. So shout out to her. She's a rapper. I hope that helps her career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to side with the Lyft driver on this one. You know, same way as like if you're on a plane now, and some airlines make you buy 2 seats if you're plus size. Or, you know, something I have to struggle with is when I go to amusement park and, you know, you got to be this height to ride a ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't ride all the. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just tall enough to be able to ride all the rides. But people have those requirements. The next thing we did want to talk about was the Selena Gomez video, and basically she's like crying on there. She ends up deleting her video. Talking about we are deporting her people. She's half Mexican, half white American. Apparently, I'm not sure if this is factual or not, because, you know, I'm just like you guys. I get half my information from social media, and who knows if it's true or not. But apparently, her Mexican father walked out on her family when she was a young kid. She grew up, became an American star. And is living the American dream and is crying for people getting deported. My thoughts is that we're deporting everybody who's here illegally, but the biggest thing is getting rid of the illegal criminals that are here illegally. I'm going to side with that side, and you can agree, you cannot agree. Everybody can have opinions. That's the beautiful thing about America, and that's why it's great. But that's just my opinion. Everyone can have opinions, which is cool. So she can make her video and I can disagree with her video. And that's my stance on that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously regarding it, kind of like we were saying before, we were rudely interrupted by the MacBook.
We had this conversation already.
This is just so aggravating to try and redo this.
Basically, one of the things I was like, yeah, you should deport the illegal criminals.
Yeah.
And then what did you tell me?
My question was, how are we determining who the criminals are?
How are they criminal? Yeah, are we giving them background checks before? Hey, let me get you a background check before we take you out of here.
Like,
and I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah, are we doing that, or are we just generalizing as criminals because they're not here with the proper paperwork? What do we? Because typically what it's described as is all the murderers and rapists and things of that nature.
There definitely are some, because you see like the stuff that was happening in like Denver, like I guess Peruvian. I don't know, Peruvian, but
that's what I'm saying.
Taking over.
Did these countries send us a list of all these people's prior offenses and we were able to, you know what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
That's kind of my thing.
We got to call up ICE and ask them, because I literally have no idea. Yeah, you said that. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they figure it out once they get a proper identification on them.
Maybe.
If they even have proper identification. I'm not sure. That's good.
That's what I'm saying. Because if they don't have any proof of residency here or any sort of papers, I'm like, I don't know how you pick them up and then say, hey, I have this guy whose name is this here. Mm-hmm. Does this match anything in your database? Yes or no?
Yeah,
and then
I think they have to have a way to figure it out, because apparently there were also like when they're trying to take these planes, deport the people back in Colombia and Mexico, they're like not letting them land in their airspace to do it. And then Trump was like, well, if you don't do this, you know, you're going to go in timeout and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, obviously, because you hear about it, but I'm a very question oriented person. That's how I
But
live
if they're
my life,
criminals, their country wouldn't probably want them back anyway.
Well, that's
known criminals.
Well, that's the thing, though. A lot of these foreign countries, they almost enjoy punishing the people who have committed offenses in their areas. So it's like, it's almost like if somebody who was American committed a crime in somewhere else, a lot of times they get transferred back here to be tried for their crimes. So that's just due process. So, and if that's the case, them not taking them back because they're criminals and because they committed crimes on their soil, that doesn't make that much sense to me, because they should be wanted for that, right? And then basically that, however their justice system works, that they would be taking them back for whatever proper sentencing. So to deny that, I mean, I also get, if you put 30,000 people on a plane, like where are we going to put all these people right now? Because you know what I'm saying? If you're expecting me to put them all in a jail,
their job to figure it out, apparently.
Well, yeah, that's what the problem is. Like we had no time to figure this out. You guys started doing this before you talked to us. And if we're going to take, and like I say, if they are in fact criminals, then obviously we need somewhere to put criminals, and which means we need to either define what jails they need to go to, what their offenses are, what their sentencing is supposed to be. But you're trying to drop them off on the doorstep.
So many people are in favor of it because it's costing taxpayer dollars. Whereas like if you're here illegally, you're not legally documented, you're not paying any taxes. So that was another thing.
What do you mean they're not paying any tax? You mean like our? I mean, obviously we pay tax on everything, and then we have to pay tax at the end of the year. So
like when you actually file your taxes.
Yeah.
So there's also, I mean, I don't do any research on that, to be honest. But there's just little things that you'll see on social media that say that illegal immigrants are costing taxpayer billions of dollars.
Sure, but if we're going to talk about how our tax dollars are being used on a daily basis, there's a bunch of things that's going toward that. It really should not. And there's a bunch of things that should be going toward that. It's not. And it's not because of that. It's just because of how they've decided to allocate those things.
I think that criminals should be deported 100%. But it's not. I don't know how you're going to figure that out.
Yeah,
that's up to them. I guess once they commit a crime here, but then you don't want them to commit a crime here, because usually when they do, they're not like that great of crimes.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's a good crime, but
well, ones that don't end up in death, typically,
right?
As long as it don't end.
Okay, we'll call those the good ones.
Well, yeah, death, rape, or anything of that nature. But have you seen the video?
What video?
Of Selena Gomez?
No.
Oh, she's like crying hysterically.
Well, yeah, I mean,
very, very, very emotional.
I mean, I'm never really a fan of people posting videos of them crying. That maybe that's just a personal thing, and that's probably why I didn't watch it, because I had seen the feedback on it, but I'm like, I don't want to watch a video nobody's crying. I don't really,
just like I didn't watch the video of the rapper like yelling about the Lyft thing. I didn't really care either. I guess just one thing that we can agree on.
Yeah, it just
through both
doesn't
of
do it
those
for me.
is that women are very emotional on social media.
Somehow we ended up there.
And
Okay.
if I don't make it next week, you know what happened to me.
Yeah.
But last but not least, we just want to talk about that. And unfortunately, a very, very tragic event actually just happened about 2 days ago. American Airlines flight 5342 had 60 passengers and 4 crew members on it, and it collided with a military helicopter,
Black Hawk
with 3 people on it. And there were no survivors. And one of the scariest things, man, when you get on a plane is, am I going to make it home or not? You know, same thing in a car. It's like, you know, we sometimes take these little things for granted, but anything could happen at any given day. And if it's a plane, if it's a car, like, you always got to be thankful and grateful for that. So very tragic event. Only thing I hate about this, obviously, besides the people passing away, is how people use tragedies like this to spread a political agenda. And the Democrats are going to hear this and be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm talking to you guys too. You're talking to you guys too. Because I follow, you know, both through all my social medias, some very conservative people, some very liberal people. And I see it from both of you guys. The Trump side blaming it on DEI and saying that you should only hire the best of the best, especially when it comes to that. And yeah, I do agree with that. But do I agree that it's a time to use that as an excuse as to why this happened? No. And then the left is over here blaming Trump because they're saying that he's the one that froze funding or whatever it may be. The problem is, both sides, you guys are blaming one another and you're putting blame on something. At the end of the day, it is a tragedy. It is a tragic event that happened. And put yourself in the shoes of, I seen a video of the husband of a husband of I guess his wife was on the flight. The only thing he was saying he was worrying about was praying to God that he gets a text that somebody pull his wife out of the water alive. Put yourself in his shoes. It has nothing to do with DEI. It has nothing to do with Trump freezing funds. At the end of the day, it's a tragic event that happened, and we should be spreading love and condolences to these people, not using this as a political warfare to bash the other side. Like, if you're doing that, you are the problem. And I want you to know that. This is not a time to use the tragedy as a political agenda for either side. It is a time to mourn, to send prayers and condolences to these people, because at the end of the day, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. At the end of the day, it's not your plan, it's God's plan. So there's no point to spread hate on the situation or blame it on DEI or blame it on anything else. Not time to do that. So if you are the one doing that, take some reflection into your own internal dialogue and figure out why you're doing that, because it's really not the time. And that's the only bad thing that I have to say about that, obviously.
Yeah, super tough situation. It seems like there are probably some issues with communications regarding, I guess, to the Black Hawk helicopter. Basically, they, I guess, air traffic control tried to make a few calls to let them know that the plane was kind of coming within their sight line or, you know, their pathway. It looks like they made a call to tell them, hey, it's kind of, you're on a course with them, and then tell them, hey, you can just kind of drop down, go behind it. But they didn't get a response to the first one, didn't get a response to the second one, and then the actual collision happens. So obviously, unfortunately, whenever things like that happen, like you said, there's going to be 1,000 theories about why it did or did not happen. But the bottom line is that that's all it is theories and speculation. The bottom line is what we do know for a fact is that people did lose their lives in this very unfortunate, very tragic event. And obviously, thoughts and prayers to all the families that were affected and that were involved there, because obviously like you said, life changes in the blink of an eye. Obviously, nobody got on that plane thinking there was going to be a collision with a helicopter. No. Nobody got on that helicopter thinking they were going to collide with the plane, because obviously those are trained military pilots. So, those, so it's
a mistake was made.
Yeah,
most likely
somewhere.
It was on the military pilot part. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what happened.
Yeah.
So we don't need to be making it a political warfare. So, but yeah, that's
tough.
All I got on that. It's super tough. Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
No.
All right. Well, we did have a little bit of technical difficulty. So if if this episode don't transition as smoothly as all the other ones, we still appreciate you guys listening. Let us know your thoughts, feedback, on a lot of current events. If you agree or disagree with us, there's some things that me and Cleon disagree, but the cool thing is that we choose to communicate and have a friendship over the stuff that's happening in the world that we have little to no control over. So this is your reminder that you can still be friends with people who have different viewpoints and get along. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, appreciate you guys. Our hearts and prayers definitely go out to all the families that were involved with Flight 5342. I know there was actually just one that happened yesterday too in Philadelphia. I don't have any information on that, but
apparently a small plane just kind of fell out of the sky there. Apparently.
Crazy. But every day above ground is a blessing, and give thanks to the man above, because he's the one that is choosing to keep you here. And when it's your time, it's your time. As you can see, some small, it's routine stuff that happens. A small mistake happens, boom, 67 people lose their life. So just remember, we're not here forever. We're all going to leave this blue planet in the vast midst of a galaxy. Like, we're all going to leave here eventually. Just be thankful while you are here. All right. See you guys next week. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in.